Every February, millions of gardeners go online and search what to plant. And every February, a $60 billion seed industry is counting on them to buy. Not save, not remember. Buy. 4 companies control more than 60% of the world's commercial seeds. Bayer, Corteva, Syngenta, BASF. They design seeds you can't save, hybrids that don't reproduce true. So you come back every spring and buy again. Your grandmother didn't need a YouTube video. She knew what to plant in February. She knew because her grandmother showed her. And there's a reason you don't. The February archive holds 20 entries. Each one is a seed. Each seed holds 10,000 years of memory that the modern system teaches you to forget. We're going to open this archive layer by layer. From the surface, greens your pharaohs grew, to the armor, crops that Roman legions carried across empires, to the underground, roots the Dutch reinvented, to the ancient, plants buried with pharaohs as passports to the afterlife, to the engineers, the crops that built the soil before humans existed. 5 layers, 20 seeds, 10,000 years. Let's start at the surface. The simplest entries in the February archive. The crops you see first. But even lettuce carries a secret. It was cultivated 4,500 years ago by Egyptian pharaohs. Not for salad, for oil. Lettuce. The key to lettuce in February is beating the bolt. It germinates best at 60 to 65 degrees, needs light to sprout, don't bury it deep. 1/8 to 1/4 inch, that's all. 3 types. Loose leaf, the easiest. Cut and come again. Romaine, the classic. Dense, upright heads. Butterhead, the luxury. Soft, buttery leaves. Spacing, 8 to 12 inches for full heads, 3 to 4 inches for baby greens. And here's the real trick. Succession plant every 2 weeks. You'll never run out. Spinach, the cold champion. Survives 20 degrees Fahrenheit with a simple row cover. But anything above 75 and it bolts. That's why February is its window. 3 varieties. Savoy, crinkled leaves, cold hardiest. Smooth, baby spinach, tender. Semi-Savoy, the compromise. Direct seed, 1/2 inch deep. Thin to 4 to 6 inches. Spinach has a taproot. It hates transplanting. Iron, not from a bottle, from a leaf your soil grew. If knowledge like this shouldn't be buried under another spring, you know what to do. Swiss chard. The one green that tolerates both heat and cold. Bright lights mix. 5 colors in 1 row. Related to beets, the seeds come in clusters, 1/2 inch deep, thin to 8 to 12 inches. Harvest the outer leaves at 6 to 8 inches, and the plant keeps producing for months. Arugula, 2 types. Standard arugula, fast, peppery, bolt-prone. Wild arugula, slower, stronger flavor, more heat tolerant. 1/4 inch deep. Thin to 4 to 6 inches, or broadcast thickly. And harvest as baby greens. Succession every 2 to 3 weeks. Those were the surface entries. Simple, accessible, but the next layer of the archive goes deeper. Into the crops that Roman legions carried across an empire. Not for flavor, for survival. The archive deepens. Roman soldiers carried brassica seeds across empires. Not as decoration, as survival insurance. Kale was the vitamin supplement of the ancient world. And frost made it sweeter. Kale. Frost converts starches into sugars, nature's candy. That's why February kale tastes better than anything you'll grow in June. 3 varieties. Curly, the hardiest, survives anything. Lacinato, also called dinosaur kale, the sweetest. Red Russian, the most tender. Quarter to half-inch deep, thin to 12 to 18 inches. Harvest the outer leaves, let the center grow. One plant, months of production. Vitamin K bone density, the green that protects what aging takes. Broccoli, 60 to 90 days from transplant to harvest. That's why a February start is essential. Start seeds indoors 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost. Transplant at 4 to 6 true leaves, 18 to 24 inches apart. 2. Approaches. Calibres, 1 big head. Sprouting, continuous side shoots for months. Consistent watering prevents loose, bitter heads. Cabbage, 4 types. Green, the classic. Red, anthocyanins, deep purple. Savoy, crinkled, tender. Napa, Asian cooking staple. Start indoors 4 to 6 weeks before transplanting. 12 to 18 inches apart. Side dress with compost when heads begin to form. Row covers for cabbage worms. Cauliflower, the most demanding brassica. Any stress, temperature swings, drought, transplant shock, causes premature buttoning. Small, loose heads instead of dense curds. Consistent, cool temps, even moisture. No shortcuts. Start 6 to 8 weeks before last frost. 18 to 24 inches apart. For white varieties, tie the outer leaves over the head when it reaches 2 to 3 inches. That's called blanching. Purple and orange varieties, self-blanching. No tying needed. Kohlrabi, the above-ground turnip most gardeners have never tried. Swollen stem, mild, sweet, crisp. Quick maturity in cool weather, woody and bitter in heat. Quarter-inch deep, thin to 6 inches. Harvest at 2 to 3 inches across. Both the bulb and the young leaves are edible. Roman armor, frost armor. The brassicas earned their place in the archive, but the next layer goes where no listicle dares. Underground, where the first secrets were buried. The archive opens underground, in the dark, where color was the first secret. Carrots were purple, before the Dutch painted them orange in the 17th century. And that's just the beginning. Carrots, originally from Afghanistan, purple, white, yellow. The Dutch bred orange carrots in the 1600s, possibly to honor the House of Orange. A vegetable changed color for politics. Soil is everything with carrots, loose, stone-free, 12 inches deep, 1 rock, and you get a forked, twisted root. Germination is slow, up to 3 weeks. Keep the surface moist the entire time. 3 variety types. Nantes, sweet, cylindrical, works in most soils. Danvers, shorter, tapered, handles heavy soil. Imperator, long, slender, needs deep, loose ground. Quarter-inch deep, thin to 2 to 3 inches. Pro trick. Plant radishes alongside as row markers. They'll sprout in days, marking your invisible carrot rows. Beets. Napoleon once declared beet sugar the future of Europe, to break dependence on Caribbean cane. He was right. Each beet seed is actually a cluster of multiple seeds. So thinning is mandatory. Soak overnight before planting. Faster germination. Half-inch deep. Thin to 3 to 4 inches. 4 varieties. Detroit dark red, the classic. Reliable. Golden, no bleed. Won't stain your cutting board. Chioggia, candy stripe inside. Beautiful. Cylindra, sliceable. Uniform rounds. Thinnings make delicious microgreens. Don't waste them. Nitric oxide, blood pressure, 1 root vegetable that pharmaceutical companies wish you'd forget. Radishes, cherry bell, 22 days. The ultimate instant gratification. If you've never grown anything before, start here. 1/2 inch deep, thin to 2 inches, succession every 1 to 2 weeks, and you'll never run out. Consistent moisture prevents them from getting tough and woody, and they become hot and bitter in heat. So early planting is essential. Turnips, often overlooked. That's a mistake. Some varieties are ready in 35 days. Dual crop, the roots and the greens are edible. Hakure, the Japanese salad turnip. You eat it raw, like an apple. Sweet, crisp. Nothing like the bitter turnips you're imagining. 1/2 inch deep, thin to 6 inches. Light feeder, parsnips, sweet, nutty. The roots your great-grandmother roasted every winter. 100 to 130-day growing season. Patience. But frost converts their starches into sugars, just like kale. Nature rewards those who wait. Seeds must be fresh. Parsnip seeds have notoriously short viability. Last year's packet? Probably dead. Buy new every season. You can even leave them in the ground through winter, and they'll sweeten with every freeze. One warning. Parsnip sap causes phytophotodermatitis, severe skin burns, when exposed to sunlight. Wear gloves when harvesting, always. 20 crops, 5,000 years of memory. And yet, ask yourself one question. Why does no school teach seasonal planting anymore? Who benefits? When an entire generation forgets what their grandparents knew by heart. The seed industry doesn't sell to people who remember. It sells to people who forgot. If this archive matters to you, share it before spring buries it again. The archive reaches deeper now. The archive reaches deeper now, into the oldest cultivated plants on Earth. Onions were found in the eye sockets of Ramesses IV, not as food, as a passport to the afterlife. The concentric rings symbolized eternal life, layers within layers, even in death. The archive held onions. The most important detail no beginner video tells you: day-length matching. Get this wrong, and your onions will never form bulbs. Short day onions, 10 to 12 hours of light. Southern states, Texas, Florida, Georgia. Intermediate day, 12 to 14 hours. Middle zone, Tennessee, North Carolina, Missouri. Long day, 14 to 16 hours. Northern states, New York, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Wrong match, no bulb. It's that simple. Sets 1 inch deep, 4 to 6 inches apart. February's cool conditions build the root system before summer triggers bulb formation. Shallots, the chef's favorite, delicate flavor, somewhere between onion and garlic. But here's what makes them special. They form clusters. Plant one, harvest 6 to 8. They multiply, 1 inch deep, pointed end up, 6 inches apart. Cure 2 weeks in a warm, dry location before storage. Green onions and leeks. The quick crop alliums, green onions, 60 days. Succession plant monthly for continuous harvest. Leeks, longer season but frost hardy. You can harvest leeks through winter. Both are excellent for container gardening. No yard required. Cress, the fastest crop in the entire archive. 7 to 14 days. Sow thickly on the surface. Keep moist. Harvest with scissors at 2 to 3 inches. Peppery, nutrient dense. Grows on a windowsill. Grows in a container. Grows anywhere. Weekly succession. Perpetual harvest. 4 layers of the archive, opened. 16 crops, recorded. But the final layer, the deepest entry, contains the crops that didn't just grow in the soil. They engineered it. The final layer, the deepest entry, the crops that don't just grow in the soil. they engineer it. Nature invented nitrogen fixation 400 million years before humans invented fertilizer. And February is when you plant its masterpiece. Peas, 10,000 years ago, in the Fertile Crescent. The first farmers noticed something. The soil where peas grew was richer than the soil where they didn't. They didn't know about nitrogen fixation. They didn't know about rhizobia bacteria. They called it common sense. Peas don't just feed you. They feed the soil for the next crop. Your ancestors knew this 10,000 years ago. We forgot it and started buying fertilizer. Cool season crop, 40-degree soil minimum, 45 to 65 optimal. Delaying until warm is a fundamental growing mistake. 3 categories: shelling peas, garden peas, classic. Shell before eating, snow peas, flat pods, harvest young, snap peas. Sweet crunchy pods, eat whole, 1 inch deep, 2 to 3 inches apart. Trellis support for climbing varieties. Potatoes. February is when you chit. Pre-sprout your seed potatoes indoors and get a 2 to 3 week head start. Place them in an egg carton, eye side up. Cool, bright location. Wait for stubby green sprouts. 1 rule: use certified disease-free seed potatoes, not grocery store potatoes. Grocery potatoes carry blight, viruses, disease. 1 infected potato can ruin your soil for years. Plant 4 inches deep, 12 inches apart, 36-inch row spacing. Hill soil around the stems as they grow. More hilling, more tubers. Early varieties: Yukon Gold. Mid, Red Pontiac. Late, Russet. Asparagus, the ultimate February investment. Plant dormant crowns now. Harvest for 20 years or more. Romans cultivated asparagus 3,000 years ago. Egyptians used it medicinally. It has survived every empire, every famine, every agricultural revolution, because it doesn't need replanting, ever. All male hybrids, Jersey Knight, Jersey Giant, produce more spears. Dig trenches 8 to 12 inches deep. Cover crowns 2 to 3 inches initially. Fill the trench gradually as they grow. Year 1, don't harvest. Year 2, light harvest. A few spears. Year 3 and beyond, full harvest. Every spring, for 2 decades. 1 planting, 20 years of harvest. Nature designed the ultimate perennial system. And the modern market teaches you it's too slow. Because patience doesn't sell seeds every spring. There was a woman in Texas. Who planted every February 14th, Valentine's Day. While the rest of the world bought roses, she put seeds in the ground. Her granddaughter remembers. Not the science, not the spacing, the smell of soil on a cold Valentine's morning. That is what a seed carries. Memory. In 1944, 20 million victory gardens fed America. 40% of the country's vegetables, grown by grandmothers in backyards, with these exact February crops. They weren't just gardening. They were keeping the archive alive. Now, let's talk about what this means for your garden. $47 in February seeds. $600 in September produce. That is not gardening advice. That is financial independence. 1 raised bed at a time. If you're just starting, here's your quick plan. 1 4x8 raised bed, 5 crops. Lettuce, fastest salad. Radishes, 22-day gratification. Kale, frost sweet, months of harvest. Peas, nitrogen fixing and eating. Spinach, cold champion. These 5 alone will produce more than you can eat from one raised bed. But before you plant, test your soil. February is the perfect month for soil testing. Lime takes weeks to adjust pH. Organic amendments need time to break down. Use your local cooperative extension service. Cheap, accurate, often free. Send a sample now, amend now, and your soil will be balanced by transplant time. Quick guide. Most crops in this archive prefer a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. Slightly acidic to neutral. If your soil is too acidic, add lime. Too alkaline, add sulfur. Gardeners who test and amend in February consistently outperform those who skip this step. 20 seeds. 20 seeds. 10,000 years. 1 February. Surface. Armor. Underground. Ancient. Engineers. Your grandmother didn't need a planting calendar. She carried it in her hands, in her memory. In the soil she turned every February morning. You are not just planting. You are remembering. The archive closes. But the seeds? They're yours now. If knowledge like this shouldn't be buried under another spring. Subscribe to the Green Archive. We dig up the plants they tried to bury. Which of these 20 crops does your grandmother remember? Tell me in the comments. Happy growing, friends. See you in the next one.